Hi guys, welcome to Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. I am your host, Savana Sharp, and I have a very special guest today. We have four-time Olympian, Miss Casey Samsel-Torres on. She is known by many names. We call her the Donut Queen. We have a crazy cat lady, some might call her. And also, she's an IFBB Bikini Pro. So welcome to the show, Miss Casey.
Hi, thanks for having me. We've been trying for a little while to get this going for sure.
I know we have, but I think this is going to be really good timing because we're going to have a lot of good things to talk about. So I'm super excited.
Oh, a lot of Olympia questions, I'm sure. Can't wait.
I know you're so excited, but that is what we're going to talk about. So get ready for the most important question is the first one. Okay. So are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay. So are you Team Cupcake or are you Team Protein Shake?
Oh my God. That's such a crazy question because my protein shakes are so bomb.
I know. But like,
oh my God. Like I just had like a cherry cheesecake protein shake. Like
if they're you have the option to choose you have a protein shake in front of you and a cupcake. What are you going to pick?
Oh, the protein shake.
Okay.
Is that not fun?
No, it's okay. It's fine. But so you said you have a favorite protein shake?
Yeah. I use Metabolic Nutrition, their Prejudging isolate, and it like their chocolate cake and vanilla cake like tastes exactly like cake. So I love to mix up with like cherry juice, all sorts of juice, Lily's sugar-free chocolate chips. Like I go ham. I mix them with like pudding.
Yes.
Like I make some really bomb shakes.
Good. I do too. And I think it's like the bikini thing. You have to have something sweet. You just have to.
Yeah, you can work it in there. You know, it's just a little bit of fun in your day.
Yeah. So how are you doing in general? What's going on with your life? How were the holidays?
So my choice of holidays is no holidays. I'll put that out there right now. Like I would rather not recognize the holiday. That's how weird I am.
Why?
I don't know. It's too much stress. So I just rather not. And I don't know, you kind of like celebrate stuff like all year long. Like if you're just like a happy, fun loving, like life loving person like me, you celebrate like small victories all year long, you know, like with your family and things like that. So
yeah,
like the holidays aren't really like a highlight. The entire year kind of is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do agree with that to a certain point. Like this year, my family got COVID during Thanksgiving. So it was the first year that we didn't have a meal together. And I was like, you know what? Like, it's fine. We'll just have a meal when you guys are better. So it was kind of a different year. And it just didn't feel.
Yeah, it definitely was.
It didn't feel the same, you know? It just
right.
Was like,
yeah. I think it's because we were like kind of stuck in, you know, little boxes, kind of like where we were. And some people were living in fear of the holidays and stressing more about them than getting, you know, happy about them. So this year will be better.
Good. I'm excited. So we are going to have to talk about Olympia. We have to. Have you talked about it with anyone before besides your own social media?
Mm-mm.
All right.
It has been.
So like, how was it? How was it in general, overall?
Going into it, I definitely wasn't feeling myself. I was questioning everything I was doing. Like, I know I look good, you know, I'm always constantly making progress. Like, great, that's something I could be proud of. But when you don't feel like yourself on Olympia weekend, like that sucks. So I guess like going in, like I looked good and I was ready to rumble. And then, but like, I'm like, if you don't have that emotional connection with that day, like, I don't know why I couldn't find it. Well, I do know why, but we'll get to that later.
Was that in your peak week? So you are coaching yourself through your peak week. So kind of going in through peak week, like how did you strategize what you were going to do into that first week?
Oh, it was just a daily thing. Like I didn't like make like a plan for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like it was just like I ended up like resting on Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and just, oh my God, basically dry heaving food all day nonstop. And like when you don't feel like yourself and your cortisol is a little off and stuff like that, it just doesn't sit the same. So I really didn't feel like myself because usually I'm like that, you know, really perfectly on time peaked person, and it just wasn't like that this year.
So were you actually sick?
I don't know. Probably not, but I think I was kind of, so when I get stressed out, my body does the opposite of what many bodies do. Mine speeds up and like literally just fucking just starts. I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to swear on here.
No,
just starts
it's explicit.
chiseling.
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, cause this was like just pissed me off so bad. Like it just eats at my muscle. So I just shrink. I shrink so fast. Yeah. You know what I mean? I have nothing there to help me with muscle maintenance by any means. So when my cortisol goes up, because I'm not really a stressed person, so when it goes up, it's a big difference.
Yeah. So I've been actively following like you through social medias and like seeing your Instagram posts and seeing like right up and forward, like the last like 4 to 8 weeks before, like you were looking like ready to compete and like solid, thick glutes. Like you could see like everything that the bikini division is when I see your physique, I see it's not striated, it's not too much, you're not overly lean, you're not overly muscular, you're like your posing is just really a big strength too. So I think, how is that knowing that you really couldn't do much? You know, it's your body's doing it on its own. How did you handle that?
Well, I had already recognized that my body was just kind of like 2 steps ahead of me, which was really weird. I mean, it's not the first time, but I could really feel it this time. And then you kind of just come to like, not to terms, but you just kind of like give into the universe rather than fight it, because you want to give yourself the best experience possible. So you just kind of let the stress go and see what happens.
Let's kind of turn this to a positive spin. We can go back to some of like the things that went wrong throughout the episode. But besides everything that was going on, did you have fun? No. Or let's see, let's try to, was there any positives from Olympia? What did you learn or anything that you could take away?
I literally just told Oscar this in the car. Like, there's nothing I would want to take with me, period. This was definitely one of those very human fucking moments. So, I wish that I told Oscar that I regretted going, because my gut was telling me for about a week straight, about 3 weeks out, to back out because something was different, something was wrong. And I just didn't give up, because if I sign up for it, like, it's humanly possible for me to show up. Like, I'm not going to not show up. Yeah. And this was the first time that this like sign ever came to me, and I ignored it. And I'm upset that I did.
It's okay. I think you're a lot harder on yourself than you should be. It's like you
well, I've been doing this a while, so.
I know. It's just part of life, and it happens. And, you know, I don't think you should let one show dictate your success. Because
I mean, no, I'm not sad about it. I'm just very raw about it. That's 2 completely different things.
Yeah. So going into 2021, what are your plans this year?
It's actually a really wide range. So I'm either going to compete right away or not at all. It's going to be one or the other.
The entire year?
Correct.
Okay. Wow. It's hard to tell, because right now we don't know what shows are going on. In this sport, do you have any goals outside of the title?
Like for myself?
Yes. Like, what do you want to get out of this sport in general?
I want to motivate my team.
Yes.
That's, I mean, at the end of the day, when I go to sleep, I know that like I've done my job if I've done my, best in that realm.
Yeah. And with your team, when did you start coaching?
So my very first coaching experience, I had I think I had just won my pro card, and I coached myself to my pro card. And one of my good friends that always trained with me was like, hey, you should get me into one of these shows. And I said, you're joking, right? Like, I didn't even know what the hell I was doing. So, you know, she just trusted me and I did it. And she entered her first show. She had like 16 girls in her open class, just went right to open, and she got second. And I was like, well, shoot, maybe I'm good at this. You know, and we kept trying, and everybody was placing. So it was about 2015, 2014.
Okay. And have you made any pros this year?
No, this was a tough year for sure.
Yeah.
We only ever carry about like 25 girls in the competition team.
Okay.
So the numeric odds are going to be a little bit different when you're looking at other, you know, coaches and teams and stuff like that. When they're putting up, you know, 25 girls in a show, the odds are going to be a little bit different.
Yeah. What's your favorite part about coaching?
My favorite part about coaching, that everyone's different. It never gets old. Like, it's always interesting and fun, and there's always something to learn.
Yeah. And do you have a team mascot by chance?
I don't think so. I mean, I can name a ton of funny ones, but no, I mean, our logo has changed from its entire career of me eating a donut, which is really cool to see up on like the sponsor boards and stuff at shows, just me eating a donut with Team Casey across it. But I reached this year we moved to just the Team Casey because we have a really solid structured lifestyle team now as well.
Okay. And then walk me through like Team Casey's coaching philosophies. Like, what is something that is consistent throughout all your athletes? I know everyone is different, but how do you coach consistently for every athlete?
So first, like I just said, like I limit myself. I know what I can handle and what I can't with my daily life and things that I do in real life. So that balance, first of all, and then I really break every client down into everything, like everything that they are, health and wellness wise, you know, age, supplements, doctor's clearances, like break everybody down. I ask all the questions and just make sure that their health is in mind 100% of the time. And not that that's different from like every other, you know, coaching team. Like I'm sure that there's others out there that really take every factor into consideration, but there's not many that also do that and their coach actively competes at the same time. Yeah. So I think that I always bring a new perspective to my team.
And then you're also doing posing coaching as well?
Correct.
So in posing, how do you create someone's routine?
Well, we all know that's broken down by what they look like. And as they change, things can shift over time. Angles can change by small percentages. You have to consider height, muscle mass, whether you need to bring them in super lean or not. That always changes. Yeah, you just got to get an eye on someone and then try to create that bikini shape up there, you know, in whatever physical shape that they showed up in.
And for posing too, what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see new competitors making?
All right, new competitors, like straight out the gate?
Kind of both. Yeah, I guess NPC level competitors.
Bending over too much because they think that the judges want to see that inner marking there in their leg when they're actually looking for, pardon me, the glutes to fall into that hamstring, just softly. They're not looking for that hardness on the inside. Generally, it all depends who shows up too. Pinching back with their shoulders narrows out their upper body and releases that hourglass figure, which we need a hold of in that back pose. And another big one, when you're hitting your front pose, instead of keeping your shoulder flat. People are flaring them up to flare their lats out. It's a big no-no too.
Okay. And with your posing routine, I feel like you have so much swag. How have you been able to look at yourself objectively and change your routine over the years? Is the routine the same from show to show? Are you tweaking it slightly, or what are you doing?
So what's funny is like, I mean, I practice my routine daily, pretty much. But I'm just like, I get so like comfortable up there that like sometimes things happen that I don't plan and I just go with it. And it just looks like my routine changes over time when it was actually just a fluke and I pulled it off.
I like that. And
I'm not gonna lie, I always like turn around and start walking and I'm like, oh my God, Oscar totally knows that's not my routine. He's gonna say something.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that's the one thing too. Like, I think that happened to me. My past show, I was up there and I've practiced my routine so many times. I'm like, it's this for this many seconds and, you know, a little cute little smile this way and a hair flip there. And then when you get on stage, it's kind of like, you're like, oh, wow, I forgot how to think right. And your body just goes into whatever it wants to.
Yep.
How do you get inspiration or ideas from posing?
Can you rephrase that? I don't know.
Yeah, like how do you get ideas and inspiration for posing? Like, do you look at other competitors' routines? Do you look at NPC? Like, how are you?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I watch other competitors' routines and just look for consistency in the routines, and I try to break that.
Okay.
That's literally my main game.
Let's talk about Janet's routine. Do you agree with Janet being the new standard of the division?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I honestly, like, for me, like looking at her look, like she did get much muscular. I think she got like a little bit more muscular this year, and that might be like a touch too much, but like overall, like when all of us came out, like Janet was like dead on. I think she was dead on. Mm-hmm. Some people are saying she's skinny. Well, okay, she might be like a little smaller than the rest of us, but she's proportionate, and the muscles were just like perfectly round and smooth and cut out. And, you know, it was just like one of those things. It was just like, okay, that's her. Now we're going to tear people down off of Janet. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it did. And then does that,
okay.
how do you think that affects what the judges are going to be looking for 2021? Like, where do you see it going this year? Like, what's going to be winning? What's not going to be winning? What are they looking for or not looking for?
I would say shape is a really huge thing coming in now. You know, because if your shape is like literally 3%, you know, less bikini like than someone else's, it's pretty obvious. That's why it's so important. So definitely proportion. And like I said, like Janet was just like, her tan was perfect. The overall look was perfect. That's going to really, really matter when it comes down to a lot of girls these years, or, you know, this year, because it's going to be close. I feel like every show for these top athletes that in the first call out, it's going to be ridiculously close because girls just keep getting more muscular and more shapely and more on point. So I think that, like, as we're making this shift in the bikini division, like all these girls are just going to look really good. So it's going to come down to like an overall presentation, overall look. Yeah. So I think they made a really good impression with Janet in regards to that.
And then wellness too. How do you think like wellness is affecting our division?
I mean, it just generally separates. Like, there's not really any political or any descriptive thing for it. It just separates the divisions up, and it brings bikini to its rightful place, you know, where it's always been trying to go.
Would you ever do wellness?
Oh, if I could, yes, of course. But yeah, but I don't, you know, good luck.
Yes, good luck. So are you reversing yourself out of the show? I do want to talk a little bit about that because I've seen that you've been posting about a different style of reverse than you've done in past preps. So going out of Olympia, how did you reverse yourself? What was your goals in mind? What are you doing with diet and recovery and cardio?
I can just break it down like for face value. So what I usually do is I will focus on lowering cardio first. So just keeping some energy rather than eating more. I'm just trying to keep energy instead of burning it, for other things. But this year was different because it was around the holidays and I knew I was going to be enjoying extra meals and stuff like that. So I just kept my cardio a little bit higher. 27 minutes is pretty high for me. But I just kept it there. It felt good. Everything just felt like it was evening out with all the extra eating and stuff like that. And now I'm finally bringing that back down. I'm bringing the cardio down while keeping like the macros relatively where they are. And my averages in the last week were like 2.7 thousand calories a day with the refeeds and then my normal macros during the week. But I'm trying to bring that back down because that's like relatively like hard to hit when you're not like enjoying big, huge holiday meals.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what are your average macros? Are they always changing? Or what are some protein
average
goals?
Macros during what point?
Let's do prep and then improvement season too.
Oh, I mean, they're ever changing. That would be like 20 sets of different macros.
Let's say the last 4 weeks.
They're usually higher. So like the average, probably like 155 grams of protein, 215 grams of carbs, and like 45 grams of fat.
Okay. And then improvement season, is it going to be drastically different?
Yeah. So I keep my protein relatively the same. If I go over like 10 macros, it's fine. Fats come up a little bit, maybe by 10 or 15. And then the carbs are usually around, I would say like 315 to like 415.
Okay. And then what are some staple items that you're eating year round?
My Lion's Choice, I love. They've got the edible cookie dough and pancakes and all sorts of good stuff. The cookie butters, powdered peanut butter. And then I love seitan. And then that's a vegan source of protein.
Yeah.
And I love having like wraps. I love cereal. I could sit here all day.
I know. So I think you have like you're not doing meal plans. Do you do more of like the flexible dieting style?
Correct.
Okay. And then the closer that you get to show, is there anything that you cut out?
Probably like stuff like yogurt and pudding and stuff like that. That just has like a lot of extra, craft sugars in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm already getting a decent amount from like condiments and stuff like that.
Yeah. And then are you doing any water manipulation, sodium manipulation?
No.
At all?
Mm-mm.
Even on show day too?
Correct.
Full gallon?
Yeah, I mean, I drink 200 ounces, so.
Okay. I think it's interesting too because I've done it both ways. I've done it where I've cut water, we've done sodium, but I think the best thing that I've learned is like consistency. Just try not to change anything, so it's a predictable result.
Yeah. I mean, since usually we don't get on stage till like halfway through the day, I only have like half of my macros and half my water in. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I try to like get all my macros and all my water in before 12,
Yeah. And let's talk about like a fun question too. I like this. So going back to the beginning of your fitness journey, was that 2013-ish?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you knew what you did now and you could time travel and you get to have a conversation, sit down, one-on-one talk with your younger self before you've ever stepped on stage, before you started your fitness journey, what are those things that you want to tell her?
Wow, it's a good one, Savannah.
Yeah.
You
Like,
said you were going to do this.
I did.
Um, so, I mean, there's a good amount of things, but I would say don't let it get to your head. And like you always have a safe place where you feel like home. Because you know how you kind of feel like bodybuilding like fights you throughout the years and makes you like really test yourself and,
Yeah.
you know, makes you like want to quit sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
So I would just tell her like, don't ever give up on it. And you might have some hard times, but you'll get through them if you really love it.
I love that so much because I think that for me, like when I think about things like that, I try not to overthink it and to just remember like you're consistently making progress and like, you know, like it might not feel like it today, but just look where you've been and where all the things that you've done. So I like to do reflecting questions just because it shows just like how mentally how different we are from when we started to where we are now. But
Yeah.
as far as like mistakes along the way, not necessarily mistakes, but just learning opportunities that you had for yourself. What do you think were some of those big aha moments for you in the sport?
Aha moments. I guess it was watching my team grow and watching the girls grow individually, because some of them, you know, they wouldn't do as well as they wanted to one week, and then the next week they'd win their show. And we had so many of those moments that like clicked to me as a coach. And it's even more prominent these days. Like you can go from last call outs one week to first call outs the next week. So I guess that's kind of like what's stuck with me and like just taught me that like, hey, like just stick to your guns.
Yeah. What are those
We're going to get it eventually.
What do those conversations look like between you and an athlete? Like I know there's some hard moments like with placing and, you know, self-doubt. How do you motivate someone that maybe didn't have a good placing, even though they followed their plan and did everything right? What are those conversations between you and your athlete look like?
Well, since I have been in their shoes, I try to support them in a way that I wish that I had been supported, I guess, like vocally. And, but I try to keep in mind that they're all completely different from myself. And then you can get into like the not so emotional side of it, not so mental side of it, and just tell them, you know, the breakdown, like, hey, we did really good here. We made a lot of progress. And then, you know, you have to just tell them, be honest with them, just say, hey, you know, this is probably why you didn't, you know, place as well as, you know, we would have hoped, but this is what happened, and it's not going to happen the next time. The next time you're going to place somewhere different. And you just, it's a gamble sometimes. You can look, you know, your absolute best 110%, and follow the judges' criteria changes and things like that, or, you know, the personal changes you need to make for yourself. And sometimes it works out for better and sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends who shows up at the end of the day. And the more honest you are with your clients about how they did, the better they can become faster.
Yeah, I like that. With some of those conversations too, like it's hard to take emotions out of it. How are you able to coach yourself and take emotions out of it?
Oh boy. Well, that's probably the answer is that's probably why I'm so hard on myself. Because I just try to look at it for what it is rather than how I am like feeling. Because if I went by feeling, I would absolutely get nowhere. I'm a nutcase. So I I just have to, yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I think it's just straight up, like, I just have to remove the emotions from it and just realize that I'm a, you know, a functioning body, and this is what I need and this is what I don't. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I think when you check your progress pictures, are you analyzing those weekly, daily? How often are you looking at your physique?
Daily, usually. The last like couple weeks, I'll
Okay.
take videos and things like that in different lights.
And then
Ooh.
have you ever had a coach before?
Say that again. I'm sorry, you kind of cut out.
Have you ever had a coach before?
Yes. Yeah, I've had 3 in my career.
Who were those coaches?
First one was Adam Atkinson, a See You Later Leaner.
Okay.
And then I worked with Kim from Body by O. And then I worked with Dan Esslinger from D4.
Do you think you'll ever get a coach again?
No.
Okay. Why?
I just, the last coach that I had to spend almost a year putting back my muscle on, or putting my muscle back on.
Yeah. Why?
So that just really, like, that process like almost broke me. So, and I know obviously all coaches aren't the same, but I would be wasting my money, I feel like, if I hired someone.
Yeah. And okay, I'm just curious to see, like, what did you learn from them? Were they the first ones that showed you for competing, or is there anything that you took away from them that you use now still?
Yeah, some of them have said things to me that still motivate me to this day. And then I learned some really good, valuable, flexible dieting information from Adam Atkinson. And then I learned a little bit of what not to do, you know?
Yeah, I do know. Let's see what else I can get out of you. Let's go back to some fun memories. What was your favorite competing memory?
Wow, I have so many.
Okay, let's go through some of the ones. Like, what comes to mind? Like, is it a certain show? Is it maybe in a prep moment or something like that?
So I would say Tahoe was pretty close to being like a top experience for me. Just like being over there, knowing that it was COVID times, doing a show outside in 50-degree weather. My husband was actually there. And I got like some incredible feedback from the judges, and I found out Tyler Manuel was watching. Like, we had some good food out there, good company, a lot of good downtime, some fresh air, met some really great people. That was a really good memory. And then I have like competed with alongside of my athletes before. So those always stick with me forever. And I will take that opportunity always, if they ask me to do that. Yeah, I've got a ton.
I know. I want to talk about Tahoe because Tahoe was my favorite look personally from you, like all time. I knew you were going to do well looking at that morning. I think you posted like like a posing little thing before the show even happened. Like I just
Oh,
could
yeah.
tell, I could tell like, you could have this like feeling of like, wow, like she looks the part today. You can tell like it in how you're presenting your physique. What felt different about that show and that day?
I guess like no pressure. I didn't really have to worry about anything. I was bringing something new, and it was just a straight up experiment. And yeah, like I said, really no pressure. So I was just at peace with everything.
Yeah. Is that going
Made
to
a
be
good day.
is that going to be a look you're going to try to repeat as far as suit, hair, makeup?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then when you guys were in prejudging, what goes through your mind when you're on stage posing and getting compared?
Well, I mean, at that show in particular, it was when we got pulled out for the top 3, you know, and I'm standing there with someone, you know, that has won the Olympia bikini 3 times, like, and you know, you want to do good. And I don't know, like, again, I was like so at peace with it. I was like, I can't even believe I'm like top 3, like with something new that I wasn't able to trust yet. So like just competing in general was like, just like a good, you know, good feeling. Yeah, I don't know. So I guess I didn't really feel pressure then either. You know what I mean? Cause I was bringing something new. I felt like I was just kind of like floating there, just having a day.
Having a good time. And then for
Yeah.
finals too,
Trust me. I loved that show. That was so much fun.
it looked fun. I think because it was outside. Like I think it was one of the first shows that I had seen since the COVID thing that actually was done outside.
Yeah.
So I think
Besides North Americans, right?
yes, but that was not fully like you guys were able to see like the background of being outside.
Yeah. It was absolutely breathtaking. It was awesome.
For finals for that night, when they announced your name or were about to, you kind of freaked out a little bit and were super excited. Walk me through those moments.
So that was the first time, like it just smacked me in the face. Like that was the first time I've ever just rocked out and competed and won a show. I've always had to just fight for it so hard. And it was just, that was the first time that I've ever just walked out and won a show. So I was just like, you've got to be crapping me right now. Like I didn't even know what I was wearing that day as far as my physique. I wasn't familiar with it. So like, it's just crazy. It was nuts. My gosh. And I don't know, man. That was just a cool fucking day.
Yeah, it was super cool. And I'm so happy.
I mean, we had, and I actually got to know everybody really well because it was actually a relatively small show. I think it was like 17 girls, really incredible girls. So we had time to like really get to know each other. I have a good friend from that show now, and I know Ashley, and we were able to have some fun and reminisce at the Olympia. So it was cool.
Who are those friends backstage that you talk to the most?
Denitra and Ashley.
Okay. What do you guys talk about? What's going on backstage? What do you guys do while you're waiting for the show to go on?
We are not talking about the show at all.
What is typical bikini conversation?
Food, I think, right?
Yeah.
Did I answer correctly?
Yes, that is correct. That is awesome.
Yeah. Where are you going afterwards?
Yeah. What did you have post show?
What did I have? Oh, a little pizza that was like, and then I had that massive donut, like
a huge donut.
Yeah, it was pretty great. I didn't eat the whole thing. I saved some for the next day, but did work on it.
How did the donut iconic Casey donut thing get started? Is it just something that you liked, or is it more of like an experience to like search out the best donuts?
So ever since I was little, my dad would take me to Dunkin' Donuts to get me a chocolate frosted donut, a chocolate glazed, and a chocolate milk. And I would just eat those like Tuesday, Thursday, like every other weekend, for breakfast. And then my Nana always kept donuts in the house. I don't know. I just, I eventually started like bodybuilding, and donuts just started to taste better. And then like over the last like 5 or 6 years, like donuts have evolved into like not basic donuts. Like it's not just Dunkin' Donuts anymore. It's like these cronuts and these things stuffed, and like they're putting hot chicken on donuts now. Like
Yeah.
they're really doing them up. So like, you know, it's like just a new version of the donut that I'm obsessed with.
What is your favorite donut?
That's a loaded question.
If there can only be, you can only have one donut for the rest of your life, which is that donut?
Jesus Christ, Savannah.
That's the only one you can ever have, but you can have as many as you want.
I have never been this stressed out in an interview. Okay. Oh my God. Shit. There's so many. You have no idea how many donuts I've had.
I know, there's a lot.
This is a real pain. I would have to say the most unique flavored donut that I will probably eat for the rest of my life in some way, shape, or form, somehow, no matter where I live in the United States, I will eat it, is the Donut and Dog here in Nashville.
What is that?
It's a hot dog and donut place, and they make
wait, hot dogs and donuts? Is that good together?
Yeah, so, I mean, you don't eat them together, but they're all made out of the same brioche dough.
Okay.
So that's why they do them together, and it's called the Donut and Dog, and it's actually a really big hot spot in town. But so their donuts are all brioche, and they just like melt in your mouth, and their frostings and toppings and stuff are just like insane. Like there's a raspberry cayenne donut that they have is really good. There's so many. Oh my God, there's so many.
Oh, that sounds so good.
Yeah, all the crazy, like they're not even crazy. They're just like every flavor you want to eat together. Somehow they made it happen.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. So let's see what else we can do. Do you have a pump up routine that you use before stage?
I don't ever have like a routine set. No, I just do whatever needs a little bit of blood flow.
There's like bands and just like some exercises and kickbacks and glutes and whatever.
Yeah, I usually don't touch glutes, but shoulders and arms I'll do.
Okay.
Sometimes back.
Okay. And then from all the years you're competing, what was your favorite physique? Not winning physique, but what was your favorite physique?
I would have to say Tahoe as well. Just because I finally like brought that fullness that I was like looking for the past 8 years of my life.
Was that your favorite stage look too, as far as hair and makeup?
Yeah, definitely. I looked put together that day. Usually I've got like one thing off and I'm just like, oh, why did I do that? Yeah. But yeah, this time I felt really, really good.
Are you someone that does your own hair and makeup, or do you get it done?
I get my makeup done. I used to do my own hair or my own makeup, but just as of recent, like I've been able to work with some really awesome makeup artists, but I do my own hair. And I would say like 80% of the time I do my own tan too.
Okay. And then in terms of placing, what was your best, I think Tahoe's best placing ever?
So I've won 4 pro shows, and I've gotten 4th at the Olympia and 3rd at the Arnold.
Okay. And then what's lowest placing ever?
Probably this year's Olympia.
What did you end up?
I think you can't really like call it like your lowest placing because it's the Olympia.
Yeah, right. You're like, okay, yeah, well, I'm still best in the world. So
yeah, like, so it's, yeah, I mean, numerically this Olympia. Yeah.
Which is hard to kind of wrap my mind around, thinking that
it all makes sense to me, but
I know, but still there was a lot of girls this year. Do you think there's going to be as many competitors in the bikini division for next year for Olympia?
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's why they're starting the shows later this year.
Yeah. And do you want to keep the Olympia in Florida, or do you want it to go somewhere else? Do you like it in December? What are your thoughts on that
Oh,
timing?
it needs to go back to Vegas.
Why?
Oh God. It didn't feel like the Olympia to me.
Yeah. What was different?
So
What is it, just because it just wasn't as special, or what, there wasn't as many people there?
it just felt like a normal stage this year.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of COVID. Like, I know it's not because of the production team. Like, they kill it all the time. And that final stage was like, holy crap. It was like the most amazing thing you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah.
But there's just something about Vegas, man. I don't know what it is. I guess because like my very first Olympia was obviously in Vegas, and that's just kind of like where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Forever until the end of time.
As far as your timing though, do you think it's okay to have it in December, or do you want it to be different timing?
I think it needs to go back to September.
Okay. And then there's talks of like the Arnold moving too. I think they said
Yeah.
maybe, I don't know when that's going to be happening.
I want to say June.
Yeah, like course closer to summer.
I think so.
I know we talked about some shows, but do you have any specific ones picked out already?
I mean, I actually applied to the Arnolds. I don't know when we find out now though, because, or if we have to reapply because of the date change, but I said I wasn't going to compete this year, but that would be the only exception that I make. Yeah, I think that's like, if I don't decide that I want to come right out the box and compete, I am just going to do the Arnolds, and that'll be it, I think.
Okay. And then for some feedback, like I know that you've had different philosophies growing up of getting, or throughout the competing, like sometimes you would get feedback from the judges, other times you wouldn't. Did you receive feedback this year from shows? Did you not?
Well, I did the Tahoe, and I asked for feedback. Like what gave me the win today was my question.
Yeah.
And they just said, like, you have never looked better. Like they were like, you couldn't have been tighter, you couldn't have been fuller. They're like, you nailed it today. One of them said, don't mess this up going into the Olympia. And I was like, all right, well, yeah, I mean, that was like some of the craziest feedback I've ever gotten. Cause usually it's like, bring your shoulders up, bring your glutes up, make your glutes tighter. And my feedback was, don't mess this up. So it felt pretty good.
Good. And then, so let's say you take the year off. What are you going to do instead? How are you going to spend your time?
Oh, just working out and coaching and hanging out with Oscar.
Well, okay. No big plans
Yeah.
or anything, like traveling?
Oh yeah, we'll get out when we can. We just got a new house and we haven't done diddly squat to it yet, so it'll be nice to have like energy to work on the house together.
Yeah, that's great. So your husband is not a competitor, right?
Right.
How is that? How is it living with someone who doesn't compete?
I've gotten used to it. I mean, he pretty much eats what he wants and looks the way he does, so good for him. And then, I mean, he works out and stuff, but we don't really work out together. I generally work out alone.
Yeah.
Majority of the year. But yeah, I guess that's it. That kind of breaks it down.
Is he able to come to every show?
No. He runs a entire portion of his whatever it is. So he like just reports like to 1 million people, and then 1 million people report to him. So he just has a lot on his plate all the time.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's see, what else well, okay, so this is a question kind of for you two. Do you guys ever plan on having children?
No, we're not doing babies.
Okay, why?
Neither of us want children.
Okay.
I mean, I guess like we never really talked about why. We just both like looked each other in the eyes and we're like, no, we don't want to do that. So that was the end of the conversation.
Okay. I always am curious because I know competing might affects if you can get pregnant as easy as before. So I just am curious if competitors think long term about those kind of effects if they're considering having kids later on.
Yeah, I mean, I suggest freezing your eggs,
Freezing
you know,
your
because we're
eggs.
all what, um, no, like I definitely don't want kids, but I'm saying like, you know, if people are like waiting until they're like 35 to try to have kids, like why don't you, like if you want to compete and do stuff in between, why don't you freeze your eggs when you're like 30?
Yeah.
It's just a tip. I don't know. I don't know anything.
I, okay. Well, as far as competing, well, this is just going to be a question for you. Do you plan on competing forever?
Oh, yeah. I mean, until I no longer love it, yeah, I guess.
Do you have like a deadline or where you think that is, or a certain accomplishment that would mean you're done, or you're quit? It's either I'm done, I'm had it, I'm done. What is that?
Um, right now it's just like a comeback. So, I mean, I don't know what would tell me I'm done. I think one day I would just be able to wake up and be at peace with the fact that I have lived that part of my life out.
Yeah. Do you ever consider being a judge?
Um, no, I haven't. Um, but I've been asked to try out. I rather, you know, I have so much going on in my, you know, my normal home life and then my team and things like that. I never really wanted to put more, you know, things on my plate. And then it's kind of like a conflict of interest that I don't want to jump into.
Yeah, as far as your team. Do you think politics are real in bodybuilding? Is that happening? Yes.
Um, I think everybody has their own politics in some way, shape, or form. I wouldn't say like favoritism or anything like that, but I think that there's like, you know, there's things there, there's storylines and stuff, but it's all, I mean, we all get an equal balance. So,
Yeah. Well, let's see. So, you and Jackie had a YouTube series called Brain Games and Bikini Things. Is that going to come back anytime soon?
we were talking about it, bringing it back. We actually did an episode. You were there,
Uh-huh.
Angel headquarters. And we didn't get that footage until like 6 weeks later. So, like we just didn't, I don't know, we just didn't post it because the quality wasn't good. So we would have had that episode, but we didn't post it. But we have been talking about getting back together and doing like a good like 1 hour episode, talking about who knows what. But Jackie is doing really well with her business right now, and so am I. So we're focusing on that stuff first individually, and then when we have extra time, we're going to do that.
Yeah. Are you on YouTube or anything or like social media?
Yeah, just Instagram.
Okay. And then where can people follow you? What is your handle?
It's Casey Samsel_Bikini.
Perfect. Okay. Would you ever start a YouTube channel?
I mean, I have one, but it has like 5 videos on it of me just like posing. I mean, probably not. I feel like I just don't have the time to do that. It's not like my priority.
Okay. I'm just interested to see like, because I feel like having a bigger social media following like in this world, do you think that's a benefit? Or do you have to have it to do well in this sport?
I don't think you need to have a YouTube channel, but I would say like Instagram. Yeah, it's like everybody's main source of like finding people like that. They can just go to a hashtag and be like personal trainer, bikini competition coach, Nashville, you know? So yeah, I think like Instagram's important for sure.
All right, I'm gonna move into some more fun questions that have nothing to do with competing. Who is your hero or who inspires you?
Wow. Probably Jacki.
Really?
Cause yeah, that mother effer never gives up on nothing.
I like that.
Yeah, she's definitely like a bullet. Like, watch out. I'm so glad I met Jacki.
I'm glad. And then let's see. I think this question is, if you were on a desert island, what are you bringing with you if you can only have like 3 items?
Oh boy. My lion's choice, my laptop, and a set of bands.
So the fan. Okay, that's fantastic.
No, probably like matches or some shit, but
no water though. We're just gonna be good without that.
I will figure it out when I get there.
Okay.
I need my laptop. I gotta work.
True. And then I think this one is, let's see. So a piece of advice, like one thing, if you could make an announcement to the world to give them advice, what are you going to tell them? You have like, let's say it's going to be live Casey Samsel-Torres for like 2 minutes to the entire world. What advice could you tell the world?
Don't take shit so personally. I just think it's really important, because living in a world where we have to separate things, and sometimes to keep our sanity, we have to compartmentalize, which in some ways is healthy, in some ways isn't, especially like depending on the duration of time and for what reason. But yeah, I think just not taking stuff so personally, because we have to, obviously, like I said, we have to set stuff aside or whatever. So I wish I could explain this better.
You're doing it great.
Like, you're following?
Yeah, I'm following, exactly.
Okay. So, but when we take things like personally, we like break through those boxes of when we compartmentalize everything in a healthy way. And then we take something personally, and those things like get cracks in them as we take things more personally. And then somehow like you get like this overwhelming sense of like who you are. Everything is just so much more intense, and the things you have to do, the list of things you have to do, anxiety and and taking stuff personally just like cracks an egg that you just shouldn't have to deal with all the time. And you always have to remember that like, it's not your problem, it's theirs. So no matter what it is, like if they have a problem with you, it's still their problem. So yeah, it would be, don't take stuff so personally, so you can keep yourself healthy for yourself and the people that love you.
Yay, I like that a lot. Let's do some other ones.
I'm glad I got there. I was like, I don't want to lose it. I got this.
Yeah, we pulled through towards the end. So
flying color.
What gets you excited about life?
Oh man, I guess the challenges ahead would probably have to be what gets me excited about life, because I have a personality where like my trajectory is so like fast and forward. It's just like boom, and then like, so my highest highs are like way higher than anybody else's highs, you know what I mean? Not anybody else's, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that's the enjoyment of life. And then also my lowest lows are like, you know, the lowest points. So but they're still like, you know, that if you're there at the lowest point, that you're only going to go up from here. And because I'm a wild roller coaster and I only go up and down,
yeah.
I know how it's going to feel after I accept and complete that challenge at the lowest lows. So yeah, I would say just because of the trajectory that I live my life, I'm able to really just feel it intensely and take it for everything that it's worth. And that's good. That's what gets me excited.
Yay. And
yeah.
So just like in the last 5 years, what do you wish you spent more time doing?
Say the first part again.
In the last 5 years, what do you wish you spent more time doing?
In the last 5 years, traveling.
Traveling.
I mean, I did a lot of it, a lot, but just like doing it better, like planning stuff out, and I don't know, doing it with some really cool people.
All right.
I would say.
I think that's everything that I really wanted to cover. I know we did a lot of different things. I have a few more questions for you. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about in terms of like Olympia, your competing history, or anything that you wanted to bring up that we haven't talked about yet?
No, that was such a good interview. That was really good.
Yeah, I think there's some really like cool pieces of information that we found out about you, and I'm glad that we got to kind of reconnect, and I'm really excited to see what the future holds for you. But this is my last question of the episode. Okay, so this is my finisher. I've just been saving this little one. Okay, so what do you think it's going to take from you to become the next Mrs. Bikini Olympia, and what are you going to need to be able to tap into your greatest self?
Do you ask this to everyone?
Almost.
Okay. Just take this Olympia as an opportunity to grow. I'm just gonna have to search for what it is, because right now I can't find it, but I will find it. But yeah, I just think taking everything really honestly and going through all the moves with integrity, and maybe taking a small break, and just really applying myself 1,000%, and then just showing up when the timing's right.
Perfect. I love it. So that kind of brings us to
Thanks.
the end of your interview. I just wanted to thank you for coming on. You've been an inspiration to me personally. I think you know that we met in person at the Angel Competition Bikini Fashion Show, and I distinctly remember you having a conversation, like literally like looking into my eyes, and like like you cared about this conversation, and you were telling me, I was telling you, I was like, I just have goals of stepping on the national stage. I'm really scared, and I just want to. And you said, it's just another stage. And like, I really took that like to heart. And so I finally accomplished it this year. I did 2 different national shows. So I just want to thank you for, inspiration so many.
Gosh.
I know, but you really have. Like, I look up to you so much, and I know there's a lot of others that look up to you as an amazing athlete and inspiration to help, inspire them to be their best self. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your story and just getting real with me today. So we so appreciate you. I hope you're having a great day, and yeah.
Thank you.
You're
the sweetest. that feels pretty hard. Thank you.
You're welcome. So you can follow Miss Casey on Instagram, and she also has a website. If you're looking to sign up for coaching or posing classes, you can join Team Casey. You can follow me on Instagram at Savana Sharp Fitness, or you can follow YouTube. We will post this on YouTube, so Savana Sharp Fitness will have our interview posted there. It'll come out on, let's see, next week, so it'll be January 20th for this episode. If you have any questions or concerns, follow up with us and just slide into our DMs and just tell Casey how much you appreciated this episode, or me. Screenshot it and share it with all your friends and family, and tag us as well. And that is it. That is the end of Cupcakes and Protein Shakes. Thanks for having you, Casey. Appreciate your time. I'm going to stop recording right now.